Director General of CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, all the distinguished participants on this very important first CII BIMSTEC Business Summit being organized in New Delhi today. Very, very warm welcome to all the excellencies, all the other delegates who have come from across the region. I hope you have a good stay here and go back with fond memories of New Delhi, and I hope the deliberations also are very fruitful. I'm indeed grateful that CII has organized this event because it gives us an opportunity to really assess where our trading and business relationship stands. I've been hearing very carefully the comments of various speakers, the distinguished ministers, excellencies. I see the burning desire amongst all the BIMSTEC countries to pursue greater trade, greater engagement, possibly also enter into a free trade agreement. Almost every speaker spoke about the free trade agreement. I would like to raise a few fundamental issues about where we stand and what are the possibilities of really making this free trade agreement a reality. I believe I heard somebody say there were 22 rounds so far of negotiations. That itself gives us a question mark whether we need to pause and have a relook at the track that we are going down on. The last negotiation took place some 4 or 5, 6 years ago. 6 years ago. So it clearly is a moment in time where, whether at the ministerial level or at the negotiating team level, at the secretariat level, we need to reassess. There must be clearly something which is holding back this FTA. Either it is about non-tariff barriers or trade barriers that are coming in the way of normal trade, which is the reason that countries are not forthcoming in looking at a BIMSTEC FTA. It could be other regional FTAs and the possible impact of those regional FTAs on BIMSTEC region, which is a matter of concern or causing the delay. It could be the trading practices or the different current trading preferences or current trade relationships that could be a reason for this BIMSTEC FTA not taking place. I would urge business leaders also to give a honest feedback. What do you feel about a potential BIMSTEC FTA? Do you see merit in it? Do you see value in it? And I'm sure that if the business community of these 7 trading partners were to make up their mind that they either want it or they don't want it, then we as political leaders will get direction from the business community and support from the business community to make this a reality. So I think a little deeper engagement, and no better organization than CII to lead such an initiative. I'm glad that Mr. Banerjee mentioned that they have decided to make this an annual event. Maybe we can take this up as a task between now and next year to come up with cogent recommendations on what the next step should be or can be or will be acceptable to all the 7 countries. Maybe we can begin with something small. Maybe we can begin with a preferential trade agreement, if not a full-blown FTA. But let's examine the realistic possibility and move forward on a fast-track basis, because any negotiation that's, despite COVID, we can justify 2 years out of the 6 years for COVID. But 18 to 24, a lot of water has flown down, even the Bay of Bengal, for that matter. So let's re-examine our priorities. Let's relook at the possibilities going forward and see within the charter of the BIMSTEC whether we can work out something which strengthens the architecture of BIMSTEC, which further fosters greater bonhomie and trust amongst the member countries. And I'm sure we'll be able to come up with real strength in the beautiful relationship that these 7 countries share with each other. We are all deeply concerned about the evolving situation in Bangladesh, and we wish the people of Bangladesh well. I'm sure we will all collectively convey our best wishes for a smooth transition and a bright future for the people of Bangladesh in the years to come. India has always looked upon itself as a responsible nation which cares for, which looks after the interest of the global south. Welfare of all the people of the world is a collective responsibility of every nation. Our G20 was largely centered around Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in Sanskrit, which translates in English to the world is one family. And we do believe that we would like to be a friend to every country in the world, a Vishwa Bandhu, a friend of every nation in the world. And we do believe that all of us are members of one family working towards a shared prosperity and a bright future for the people of all countries, more so the member states of BIMSTEC, the 7 nations, who collectively make up a very large number of people, almost 22% of the world population, a very large contribution to global trade, a large contribution to GDP. However, I do believe we'll have to introspect on what we do amongst each other within the current trading relationship. When I was having a look at the total international trade that the 7 countries enjoy, I realized that the trade between the BIMSTEC countries is still quite small. There's a long way to go before we can achieve its full potential. I think towards that end, regional integration will have to be strengthened, even though there are global uncertainties. I think the relations that all 7 countries share with each other make us a ripe candidate to strengthen our supply chains, intersay each other, ensure that trade is on very fair terms amongst our member countries. We could look at payment in local currencies within this region, within the currencies of each other within the region, and see if we can balance out the trade between different countries. It's quite possible that country A and B may have a trade deficit. Maybe the deficit is against country B, but country B may have a trade surplus with country C, and we can possibly net off within the 7 countries of the region and expand our trade with each other, even within the existing possibilities, so that that will become the base or a strength going forward to culminate into a free trade agreement. I think all of us believe in ease of doing business, ease of living for our citizens, whether we can look at low-hanging fruits within each other. I saw a lot of conversations in the book that I just read that CII has put together for this business summit, and I would urge all participants to look at it very carefully, because it does open up areas of cooperation through very, very good recommendations to strengthen this partnership, whether it is e-commerce, whether it is digital public infrastructure, which we believe will be the way forward, whether it is looking at better integration of our custom borders or liberalization of the various systems, including computerization of the border controls, faster clearances of the import-export documents that are taking place between the 7 countries. If we all use technology, we can certainly make trade between our 7 countries easier, help each other in our efforts for ease of doing business, and look at how we can all support each other's burning desire for inclusive growth and for reaching growth to the last man at the bottom of the pyramid. I think it's a time where critical technologies are also shaping up in the region. More and more countries are looking at electric mobility. More and more countries are looking at semiconductor industry, better technology integration for government processes. I'm sure if we all work together and there's greater engagement between entrepreneurs of the 7 countries, between the startup ecosystems of the 7 countries, between businesses who can expand their footprint within the region, countries from Thailand, countries from Bangladesh, countries from Bhutan, investing in India, investing in Sri Lanka, likewise Indian companies going across the other 6 countries, expanding their footprint, and we create some desk, a BIMSTEC desk in each of the 7 countries to handhold investments, to handhold trade, to support tourism. I was seeing the 7 sectors that have been listed out, and it really covers a wonderful and very holistic set of areas on which we can all work. And we have divided it amongst the different countries, and very appropriately so. So if Bhutan takes leadership on environment and climate change, clearly one of the best countries to take leadership on environment and sustainability, we can truly look at climate change being addressed within our region and with the support of each other, through manufacturing locally, through having technology sharing locally. Bangladesh had taken the lead on trade and investment and development, which will be the fulcrum of the other 6 areas of cooperation. India had focused on security, disaster management, counter-terrorism, transnational crime. Given the size and strengths of India in these areas, I'm sure we can support the rest of the region in these areas of disaster management and greater national security, regional security, and energy security for the people of these countries. Nepal had focused on people-to-people contacts. I think very, very appropriate, given that Nepal is a warm, very friendly country, and the people of Nepal are known for their hospitality. They can truly bring in greater thrust to cultural development, tourism development. Myanmar, on agriculture and food security, can help engage with the different regions, see what are the areas of strength that different countries have, and whether we can have mutual cooperation to take care of food security and the needs of different countries. Also technology exchange in the areas of agriculture. Sri Lanka, which had agreed to focus on science, technology and innovation, can help the entire region come together, foster a spirit of innovation, look at our healthcare advancements in different countries, and the overall human resource development of our 7 friendly neighbors and BIMSTEC members. And finally, very appropriately, Thailand had taken the charge of connectivity. I think it's a perfect mix that all of us can work on together, very appropriately designed. And towards that end, more frequent exchanges between the BIMSTEC members through the Secretariat, a greater collaboration on startups between the young entrepreneurs of this region. I think in Prarambh in 2021, we had Prarambh, which was a startup collaboration in which we had said BIMSTEC partnership to take startups to the forefront of a new world. Given that the world is evolving very fast, our startups can come up with very, very innovative solutions to the problems that each of the BIMSTEC countries face. I think a serious effort to remove non-tariff barriers or trade barriers and adopt international norms on trade facilitation, on e-commerce, on connectivity can help our countries progress faster. The blue economy has tremendous potential. Many of these countries have a thriving blue economy or demand for such products that can help create jobs, that can help us in preserving the ecology and diversity of the ocean of our Bay of Bengal. That could be a great area of cooperation in the blue economy. Our regional value chains can significantly add to our agricultural produce, our mineral produce, and all of these put together can help the region develop faster, become a developed region. And for India, we look at all these countries as a priority. We look at all these countries as our first port of call, as I do hope our friendly countries trust and look up to India as a friend, as a trusted neighbor, and I'm sure collectively we have great future ahead of us for the BIMSTEC region. In conclusion, I'd like to quote Rabindranath Tagore. Today is his death anniversary. Rabindranath Tagore had said, if I can't make it through one door, I'll go through another, or I'll make a door. I think it's time the BIMSTEC countries, in collaboration with our business community, will look at alternatives or will create new alternatives for a bright and prosperous BIMSTEC. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the conclusion of this session, and I'd like you all to remain seated till our dignitaries leave the dais. May I request you for a photo opportunity, please, with all the ministers and everybody. You can step forward.